All right.
All right. What is it? Singer, songwriter, truck restoration expert. Am I missing anything out, Wade?
Let's don't go crazy now.
Wade Hayes, everybody. I appreciate you, Wade, for joining me. It's been a few short weeks since we last seen each other back in Milligan, in fact. So
yes, I had a great time playing the Feeders Banquet there. Really, really great time. I liked the town. It was the only thing I did not like is I got a speeding ticket going back to my hotel room at about 1:30 in the morning that night.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had
of
about
all
2
times
hours
to do
sleep.
it.
Yeah, I had about 2 hours sleep I was going to get to, and this nice policeman saw fit to pull me over and hold me there. So I got about an hour and a half maybe sleep. I had to go to Omaha to fly home. So that's the only thing. Everything else I loved about the town.
I was gonna say sleep or a power nap at that point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I've always wondered, do you pull the "Hey, I'm a country singer" card and trying to get out of that?
Oh
or
no, no, that will always backfire. Yeah, I saw here in Nashville. There's an actress named Reese Witherspoon that lives here, and she'd pulled the "Don't you know who I am" thing when she'd gotten pulled over for something, and it did not go well for her. So
yeah, I was pulled the DJ card, and it usually ends up more of a headache, and of course the news, and it's just
take your bumps and go on.
Yeah. Well, how's everything going? You're at home there today as we talk to
good.
you, and
Yeah,
how's the weather out there in Nashville?
It is beautiful. It was a little cool this morning. I think we were at 33 this morning.
Ooh,
but
perfect.
it's good. The grass is coming in. Everything is good, beautiful and green.
Wow. So, before we get started on that, I never really got to ask you. Of course, you got a nice little area out there for you and the missus. You got your projects out there. Do you do any hunting and fishing out there while you're out there?
I don't have the time for that. I used to love to fish. I loved it, but we've got a little acreage here. I've got cows on it, and I mess with them most of the time. And that's what I do with my spare time. That and tinker with houses, and of course, I've got an old truck like you'd mentioned earlier, and just basic man crap, that I like to do. So
yeah, of course, yeah. How many head of cattle do you got out there?
Oh, I've just got 5. It's just
5?
a little hobby.
That's still a project. I mean,
yeah, I love to watch them. It's calming to me. I always had animals when I was a kid, and my dad and I had cattle together, and it was it's just kind of comforting to watch them out there. And they're all pregnant right now. I've had a bull out here, so.
Oh, I was going to say, you got your hands full then.
Yeah. September we'll be having babies everywhere. Hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, Mazel Tov early on. So
yeah.
There you go. Well, you speak of your father. I want to kind of touch base. I know a lot of people, are very excited about you coming out to Milligan. Don't really know your extent, your musical history and whatnot. I wanted to kind of talk to you about that. Of course, you talk about your father. Can you tell us about your early days getting into the music industry with your mandolin, by the way?
Well, yeah, that was the very first thing I picked up as a child was the mandolin. Dad had one laying around, and I that's the first thing I kind of learned how to play. And then about 11 years old, I was at church camp one year, and I saw this old boy sitting underneath the tree, and he was surrounded by girls, and he had a guitar in his hands. He was playing a guitar, and all these girls were sitting around watching. And I thought, I'm gonna learn how to play the guitar. That's when I started playing guitar, and I actually played mandolin in a bluegrass band, which, interestingly enough, this is a little side note, that show in Milligan, the Feeders Banquet, the man that I used to play in a bluegrass band with, his grandson was playing fiddle for me at that show. So it was just kind of a full circle thing. Yeah, it was that was very interesting, I thought.
Wow, kind of a full circle kind of thing.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. He's a good kid, good fiddle player. So.
Nice. Well, how did you, once you got the bug and you kind of did music starting out with your father and his band and stuff like that? I mean, how did it feel? Did it kind of like just change your life? I mean, just kind of a new perspective on things, or?
Well, interestingly enough, I started playing in honky tonks when I was 14 years old every weekend. And you would think that would be kind of a not great place to have your kid, but as a matter of fact, Dad always knew where I was, and I never got in trouble. because I was always, surrounded by people watching out for me, and I wasn't out running the streets and all this business on the weekends. I was always working. And so, it was okay. It was good. And mom had me in the Lakeview Church of Christ every Sunday morning. So, kind of balanced everything out. And it was it was good. And of course, I was playing lead guitar for him and singing harmony. And that's really what I wanted to do when I moved to Nashville. I was about 22 years old, I think, when I moved to Nashville. And that's what I wanted to do, was play lead guitar for somebody. Like I wanted to be a Don Rich type
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
find a Buck Owens type guy. That's what I wanted to do, and write songs and play lead guitar and sing harmony. And it just didn't work out that way. I ended up meeting my friend Chick Raines and writing a couple of #1 songs, and just right off the bat, and it went a different route. So.
Now, you still kind of, you dabbled on the songwriting and the performing. Which do you like better more, the songwriting or getting out there in front of the crowd?
I love to play. I do love to play, but these days, as I've gotten older, and you know, I enjoy the writing process a lot more now than I used to. I write primarily by myself these days,
Hmm.
and I enjoy it. I love to read books. I love to think about things, and I love to if I get a good idea, or I feel like is a good idea, I like to put it together. It's like putting together kind of a puzzle or something. If you've got something to say you feel is intelligent, or you feel is important, or whatever, it's fun to put it together. And when I was a kid, it seemed like it was, a lot harder, and it didn't come as naturally as it does now. So.
Well, it's a lot of times over the years, and it sounded like you had a good momentum coming through. And
Yeah.
God, what is it, by late '94 or something like that? You had your
Yeah.
first record label.
Yes, yes. The 94, the end of 94 is when the first single, Old Enough to Know Better, came out. And, it was, life just was amazing back then. You're talking about a kid from Bethel Acres, Oklahoma. I'd never been on a plane. I'd never done anything, and barely been out of the state of Oklahoma. And all of a sudden, I'm flying most every day somewhere. It was very exciting. It was the best time of my life, and it was an amazing time. And I'm very, very fortunate to have got to experience that. Country kid from Oklahoma to get to do that was pretty awesome, and I'm very thankful.
So when you got that call, you got that notification, hey, your single hit #1. What was the first thing you did, or what was the first thing you bought? Just to commemorate that.
Oh, I think there was a belt buckle.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that I had had my eyes on forever, and I couldn't afford it, and it was a one of a kind thing. And I think that's what I got. But I never was big on spending a lot of money. I had,
Yeah.
I wasn't smart enough to know what to even want, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. I wanted a nice pickup truck and a good guitar, and that's about it. So
Yeah, you just keep the ball rolling, keep the work
yeah,
going. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't blame you. I don't
yeah.
blame you. And I funny when you were talking. I know from Oklahoma and coming in Nebraska, everybody's like, "Ooh, are you a Boomer Sooner fan, by the way?" Or
I grew up. I'm a Big 12 fan. I'll just put it that
yeah,
way.
okay.
I grew up 26 miles from the OU campus.
Oh,
And of
right in the
course,
neck of the woods. Okay.
yeah, of course, we paid attention to college football. That was a big deal. Of course, I know the Cornhuskers is a big deal for Nebraska. And I remember Tom Osborne when he was, the big rivalry between OU and the Cornhuskers. And yeah, I know it's a big deal there, but I don't really. I just like the Big 12. I like to see them
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. And it's especially cool now when both former head coaches are the best of buds and work so
Yeah,
well together even after their
yeah.
time away from football. I think that's
Oh
a
yeah,
neat project too.
yeah. It really
That's
is.
cool.
That's fun stuff.
Well, so coming out of Oklahoma, you got your first single in Nashville. You're riding the highs. Of course, you've had some some paths you went across. I want to talk about the formation of Mchaze.
Okay, yeah. That
Tell
that
us
was
about that.
well. That was an idea that Tim Dubois had. That was the former president of Arista Records. He had Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, all these guys, and I had I had left my record label of Sony. I'd asked out on my deal, and I was still picking a lot. And Tim had came up with this idea. Mark McClurg, who was the guy I did this with. Which, ironically enough, you bring him up. He and I are doing a show in Dallas this weekend together. Just we haven't played together in a long time, and we decided to, or I asked him to come play this acoustic thing with me. But
Heck yeah.
anyway, that was Tim's idea. And Mark was Alan Jackson's fiddle player.
Mhm.
And we had become really good friends when I was out on the road. I was the middle slot on the Alan Jackson tour. And we got to be friends there. And we decided to do this project together. And that's all there was to it. And we decided to do it. And it did, it didn't go like everybody thought it would, and that's okay. We had a good time, and we made some pretty good. There were some good songs on that record.
Yeah, I mean, you had a pretty good run there, and I was noticing. I was showing my wife about it when I was doing a little backstory about it, and
Yeah.
she looked at you guys. The two photos are sitting there all manly like this, and she goes, it's like,
Mark is a good guy, and he's a very, very talented guy.
Yeah.
He plays about everything and plays it well. So.
Yeah. So how did it go about? You guys just kind of went separate ways, mutual kind of thing, or how did it go about?
He went back to playing fiddle for Alan Jackson. He still does to this day. I've got some good friends in that camp still to this day. It was a good time. I never got to know Alan very well, but the band, we all became friends, and kind of a few of us stayed close. So.
Wow. Talking with Wade Hayes, leading up to the show in Milligan, June Jubilee. And of course, he's opening up for Sarah Evans. Have you worked with Sarah Evans at all in your career, or is this the first time?
Yeah, I'm sure. I know her. I've been around her, and she's always been very, very nice to me.
Yeah.
And she's had some great songs, and I know we've worked together. I can't remember anything specifically, but I know that we have. And I know that she's going to do you guys a great job.
And I think just, with you and Sarah Evans, the harmonies between you guys, it's going to be a great show. Nevertheless, I mean, it's going to be great weather. It's going to be great country music. Either way, it's a win-win.
I'm excited to see her show. Like I said, I haven't seen her in years and years. One thing specifically I can think of is we did a TV show together when we were both first starting out. And she did a great job. And I know she's going to again, and she's had a lot of great songs. And it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun show.
Yeah. Of course, if you're listening, get your tickets now, MidwestTix.com. $40 in advance, 50 day of the show. And we're going to keep rolling with your career path and whatnot. And, you've had so many great hits over the time, their top 10 hits and whatnot. And you all of a sudden hit a speed bump in your life, that the call that changed your life. And
yes. I can only assume that you're talking about the cancer diagnosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that, because a lot of people don't really know how that went about with you, and you just kind of disappeared off the map there for a while.
I did for quite a good while, but I typically am a pretty private person about personal stuff. But this is something I've really felt that I led to share, because I'll tell you why in a minute, but. In 2011, I'd noticed I was having some pain and some issues, and ended up going to the doctor finally, and I about waited too long. But I found out that I had colon cancer. But not only did I have colon cancer, but it was stage 4, and it had spread. I had it about as bad as you could get it, and was not expected to live. It had spread to my liver, my lymph nodes, my diaphragm, gallbladder, and it was a very bad diagnosis. And the first hospital I was diagnosed at, they obviously were not expecting me to live, and they just wanted to keep me comfortable.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine named Kix Brooks from the group Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah.
Called me. He found out we had a mutual friend, and my producer, Don Cook, had told Kix about it. And Kix called and said, let me get you with my guys over at Vanderbilt, see what they can do. And I thank God that he did that. And that's the reason that I'm still around. And that's how God works, and it's an amazing thing. But the lead guy over there that took my case was a man named Dr. Jordan Berlin. He's a brilliant man, incredible, humble man that thought he saw a way. When my case was first presented to them, they thought the same thing. He's got it too bad, and we're just going to try and keep him comfortable. But Dr. Berlin saw something he thought he wanted to try, and thank God that he did. I mean, it took a long time, many surgeries, many rounds of chemotherapy, but I can say that was 11 years ago now, almost.
Wow.
It'd been 10 years, but yeah, it was an incredible ordeal. But the two things I wanted, to remind you of. The reason I talk about this is if somebody out there is going to hear this interview and they're going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that the reason I talk about this is I met a man after I'd read the statistics and a lot of medical professionals telling me I probably was not going to live. I met a man who was diagnosed similarly to me, and he had lived. He made it through it. And just knowing that it could be done made all the difference in the world. And
Wow.
I was ready to put my head down and keep fighting, and just knowing that it could be done. So if this helps anybody, that information, like it helped me, I want them to know. And
it's powerful, the good spirit, and
and I will, I will tell anybody, I thank God in the name of Jesus that I'm still around. It was made very clear to me that that's the reason I'm still around. And I'm a pretty rotten guy. I didn't deserve it, but I can be, I should say. But I'm very, very fortunate and very thankful.
Well, the big guy was looking after you for sure.
He certainly was.
Glad you have you back in the swing of things, and a change of life. Of course, you're still working with Vanderbilt and the Cancer Center. Of course, if anybody would like to help out in giving it, what is it? give.vanderbilthealth.org.
Yes, they are an incredible organization. The Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center is doing amazing things for people, and they're excellent. It's a great organization to be involved with.
Yeah, if you can give any way, and of course, passing this story along, just giving positive spirit and positive vibes. That's even better yet. Either way.
Yeah, it's funny, I look like a baseball now without my clothes on, but I'm still doing. I mean, as good as could be considered. I'm doing great. And
dude, you're doing good for being what, early 50, something like that.
I turned 53 exactly a week ago today. Yeah, wow. On the 20th, April 20th, I turned 53. So
dang, see, you're better off than me. That's why I got the radio face. I
no. Oh no, man. Not at all.
When you've changed your life for the better, of course, great things that came about in your latest single with the album Who Saved Who, that was inspired by your dog, right?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Okay.
And Jack, that was one of the many horrible things that happened to all of us in 2020. Is Jack got sick and he passed away. And buddy, let me tell you, that took a lot to get over that. I mean, a grown man bawling like, I'm ashamed of, but
no, they're part of the family too. They're part of the family.
Yeah. But he, that whole story, Who Saved Who, is from front to back a true story. I found that dog at a filling station in the middle of the night. He was a pup and he was about that big around, and he was covered in ticks and just a stray. And he jumped up in my truck and sat down. And I took him home. I felt bad for him and got him fattened up and got him patched up. And he was one of the best dogs I ever had in my life. I had him for a little over 10 years. And he helped. I think he was instrumental in my recovery. Just walking that dog every day. And it really made a big difference. And so, he was a big part of my life. It was just he and I back then. I wasn't married and lived alone and battling through all that cancer business, all of it. And it took years, I had it twice. I had cancer twice, exactly a year it came back. And that's what stage 4 cancer does. And So I got to repeat the process, surgeries and chemotherapy and all that business. And that dog was a big part of it. And when he passed away, it hurt, and it was a tough thing. But when I found out that he was sick, I noticed something was wrong with him, and took him to the vet. And sure enough, he had a disorder that that you couldn't do anything about. And they told me I had about a year left with him. And I bawled when I got the news. Just thinking about a day without him, I couldn't stand it. I didn't know what to. So that song started coming out. About the day that I got the news, I started thinking, what in the world am I going to do without this dog? And that song started coming out, and he was a big part of my life. And I dedicate it to anybody who's ever loved a dog like I loved him.
Yeah, it's the old saying goes, you don't lose a day, you just make the best day, out of it for.
Yeah. Trying to, and a lot of people use that song that are involved with animal shelters and stuff, and I'm glad they have, because dogs, they sure add a lot to your life if you let them.
Yeah, they're a blessing, that's for sure.
They are,
man.
And they've got nothing but love. They don't know how to do anything but that.
So you got the farm back up and going. Were you able to kind of move on and get another dog back out there at the farm with you guys? Or
I had gotten Jack a girlfriend back years before he passed, and we still have her.
Oh, good.
She's a good little dog, and she's getting gray now too, and
enjoying the simple life.
Yeah, she's a wonderful little dog, and everything's good out here at the old hacienda. The cows are fat and happy, and everything's good.
And that's great to hear, because farm's good, and you get back on the road, life is good again. And how's been? Yeah, I mean, it's just,
thankful, very thankful.
There's no words to describe the feeling, but how's been you had to kind of adjust. How's the schedule look like this year? Are you already booking into next year already?
Oh yeah. Some exciting things going on. Working on a new project. I just recorded some brand new songs I wrote.
Sweet.
And we're thinking about doing a greatest hits package, or we can't really decide what to do, or record these new songs, on a master. But as far as touring goes, this one of the bigger booking agencies here in Nashville is doing a package deal with Shenandoah and me and Billy Dean. If you remember him, he's a great guy. Had some great tunes, and we've done a couple of shows already, and they're really, really good. I mean, Marty is singing his tail off. Billy does sings his tail off. It's a fun show of just nothing but hits from front to back. We all play together, and it's a really good show. I'm proud of it, and we're doing a lot of those next year, and we've got a few of those going into the tail end of this year. And actually, I'm going to do the very first one with them in New Mexico this coming weekend. So
nice.
Yeah,
it's warm weather too to boot.
Man.
Man, I gotta make sure and get some money saved up, come down your way and go take a look at these shows.
Yeah, hey, that's a good show to see. Shenandoah had a bunch of hits, and they're great music, and so did Billy. So it's a really good
and they
time.
can still perform without skipping a beat. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
Well, it's coming up here. Milligan's gonna be just around the corner for you. You experience it. You're in a rarity situation. Not very many artists get to experience Milligan twice over. So
hey, man, I love it. I love all the countryside out there, and the people were very nice.
Yeah,
and sincerely looking forward to getting back out there. We'll have a great time. Sarah is going to kill it. She's still looking and singing good, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and of course, we can't wait to have you out there, and hope you can stay a little bit and get to enjoy some barbecue and whatnot in the side there for you. And
speaking my lingo, Ringo.
Hey, I knew. Big guy got you. No worries.
I'm in.
I honestly, I'm so happy to get to talk to you. You've been one of my biggest ones to follow. When I was younger and into my radio career, and God, I wish, we could have more have more time to podcast stuff like this, but I know your time's precious, man. I I really do
Well,
appreciate the time.
I
Seriously.
appreciate you, Eric, and
Yeah.
I might throw you a new tune here and see what you think here before long. I know you said something
Honestly,
about that last time I was there, but maybe get your opinion on something. We'll see.
honestly, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got my card. I mean, I would love to
Yeah,
talk to you again and just kind of get,
right on.
just sit here and pick your brain because I think it'd be just wonderful.
Right on, my friend. I appreciate it.
Well, I gotta let you be. I know you got to make sure and relax and enjoy before the trip tomorrow.
Oh no,
Uh,
I'm going straight. I got to go pick up payroll for this weekend right now. I'm
See,
heading into the
you're
office.
busy, and
Yeah.
I feel honored. That, of course,
No, no, man. Glad
before we go, audience, of course, if you want to give back, help out him and his friends there at Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center,
yes.
give.vanderbilthealth.org.
Yes, Bob.
Give.vanderbilthealth.org. Make sure
Thank you
and
very much, Eric.
yeah, no, hey, that's what I'm here for. If you can do that or just pass the word along in any way, shape, or form. Who's Saved Who in stores now and available for digital. Make sure and get your copy. I got mine. I always make sure and grab that. Which, by the way, when you sign that, I have to grab a CD. I tore it open and started listening to it right away. It was
All right, man.
loved it. Wade
Thank you.
Hayes, my friend, thank you. I appreciate you so much.
We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.